Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 163 until I'm a YouTube millionaire. Before I start with what I'm going to talk about in this video, I just want to state you have to be willing to be cringe in order to get to new understandings of your life and of the world around you. Sometimes it looks a little bit like a dumpster fire. You see right there, right? But you gotta do what you gotta do. Today I plan on reading an essay to you that I wrote, again, back in 2018. This one's a pretty long one. It's called Remember Who You Are. And this harkens to what I just said. Sometimes you gotta be fairly cringe in order to do that. Especially if who you are is something that's considered cringe. On some level anyway. I don't know. Let's get to this. For those of you who read my various posts on this forum, this was Facebook back in the day, understand that I hide almost nothing from you. What you see here is the thoughts that are going through my mind. I want to emphasize that. I hide nothing. And when you hide nothing, at least initially, in the knee-jerk response, it can feel cringe. It's okay. Don't stress about it. In a few years' time, nobody's going to remember what you said and did anyway, aside from yourself, and only if you're over-obsessing over yourself. I find that with increasing pressure, though I do not like the pressure that comes from many sources, as I do not understand its purpose or ultimate origin, that is, I did not, I do now. More thoughts continue to pop out of my head, more ideas. Through all of it, however, I have found one thing to be a certainty, albeit quite a curious one. The more pressure that I am put under, without any light at the end of the tunnel provided to me, the closer I go towards the light that I personally know exists, and that light is God. I tell you this now because while my posts may in some ways grow increasingly esoteric and even unsettling to some, it is my truth. That is, it is not your truth unless you want it to be. In no way would I ever imagine foisting it upon you, and in no way would I require its acceptance from you in order to enter into my circle, aside from my absolute bedrock. All that care to know me, in a humility that can only be garnered from their own internal search for truth, can know me and be my friend. I am entirely accessible. I see you all, in one form or another, as family. Some of you may be more extended family than others, but you are all nonetheless my family, if you desire to know me. It has been said by many a person, some more notable than others, that is more well known in our various structures of society, that what comes out of you when you are under pressure, without some other carrot placed before you, is who you really are underneath all the layers of occlusion. These layers we must sift through due to the scheming that produces them. Scheming required to survive in a world that is so deeply lacking in true empathy. If pressure is put on you without a direction, and what comes out of you is hatred, violence, vitriol, then that is where your path was and is leading you. The farther you will go before you will finally reach your breaking point, the more you will double down in your actions or intent, the farther down that path you had already walked. And when you can see it, then and only then can you make a decision to either continue on that path or change it. The same is true for those who are put under pressure but walk towards something that only breeds more love and compassion, something that only splays out and desperately searches for more solutions to the many problems that plague the human family at this juncture in our short but variegated history. To be clear, however, you can only see yourself if a carrot is not placed in front of you. This is because a carrot is yet another layer of scheming that is constructed by others to act as a means to an end, to have their human will carried out through you. Without that carrot, the only one that can guide you in any direction is you and your history, your racial memory. Without any other light, you'll either make your own light at the end of the tunnel, make your own, or give up. And when pressure continues to build, everyone will eventually budge. There is another beautiful thing that comes of this. I hope you understand. When you start to follow the path of your history, your racial memory, or you decide to change it, at that point is where you truly begin your journey. At that point is where your history begins anew, entirely yours, and you are sovereign unto yourself. With every step you take, in either direction, though I hope and pray you will walk towards truth, you will lay yet another brick, pave yet another pathway, construct another terrace where your fortress begins to grow, and in whose shelter other tortured souls may confide, in that most cherished of paths towards love, for yourself and for your neighbor. Whether you like it or not, for those of you reading this, and for those of you who have read my other works, what I reveal to you is who I am. I cannot say with complete surety just yet whether this path will lead, though it will never end, and when time is without capacity to defeat, or with complete surety who exactly I am underneath all the obfuscation in its totality, as I have yet more pressure to be put under, and even further to go. Thus, with every step I take, I continue to evolve, perhaps turning into something entirely original, something that has never been seen. But at this point in my own history, I can tell you that I am Payton Pearson. I am your friend, and I love you, whoever you are. I write, and of myself reveal everything to you, or damn near everything, because this is how you see into me. This is how you will read into my ultimate intent. And this is how you will build trust and empathy. This is your porthole into my soul. We live in an era now of infinite stories, with an infinite capacity to write them and communicate them in all different forms and modalities. In truth, every human being is their own unique story unto oneself. We are, none of us, merely an endless list of considered objective facts that identify you through some exterior consensus mechanism, but instead stories in all their richness and color. The only way to achieve truth in what seems to be an endless occluded world, to break down the Tower of Babel that always seems to cause us to elude the true meaning of our intent through words that can never describe with perfect exactitude what we mean, is to speak in this idea of story, in our endless stories in which all act as independent keys to the door within every soul. These doors protect us against a world where no one can ever be perfectly trusted or perfectly confided in. The story, infinite stories, can achieve parity with and even then surpass this barrier, transcending the walls that block off our emotions from one another. Through our stories, into our hearts we see. Infinity trumps the finite every time. When you find yourself confronted with the most extreme of philosophies and directions from others, especially those that may be walking a path more or less oblique to your own direction, or even going in the opposite direction as yourself, there is something that we must remember. In this era of the starkest black and white, this most clear of juxtapositions offers up the greatest opportunity in the history of the human race to attempt to empathize with sides that are far different from our own. Step into the shoes of those people and discern why they have chosen the paths that they have chosen. Listen to their stories. Mind you, this is contingent upon the fact that they have empathy themselves. You may find that when you can allow yourself to be in complete calm in the presence of a person whose very ideas would otherwise cause your blood to boil, you will recognize the resistance that pushes you farther apart. Once you recognize it, the juxtaposition will reveal some yet greater truth within both of you. Through this constant barrage of assaults on your ideals, you will get to the core of what it is that you truly stand for and begin to build upon it. With every word is built more of your truth. With every brushstroke is spoken more of your story. With every step toward one another is more depth of heart and emotion revealed. It is from this point that you can now clear away all the debris that was preventing you from building your fortress. It is from this point, your bedrock, that you can truly know and trust yourself. And it is only from this point that you could ever truly have any hope of empathizing. This is your core, but it is also your line in the sand. When you present yourself with nearly the most egregious philosophies that could possibly be mustered in your presence, and you can still find common ground with each other, then you are seeing yourself in the light that you had never seen before, and you are seeing the other in that same light. You have seen, through digging to the bottom of the other's philosophy, that perhaps they were infiltrators all along, desperately dodging overpowered enemies, hiding their truths from being stamped out, camouflaging themselves from what would otherwise be a fiery death. If you find, once you dig all the way to the bottom of someone's obfuscation, that they have not given up in the search for truth, which is to say that they have not given up, the machinery of their bodies, the worn-out pieces of flesh that were strapped together with various machinations in order to shield them from hell, in order to keep them alive for just a moment longer, you will feel the hero that stood when no one else could continue. That hero is you. And from you is found the progenitor of hope. No one else but you. But in that same light, if you find that through the resistance, that most extreme of comparisons possible, upon this worldly plane, that the person underneath all the layers of occlusion is still one that refuses to stop spouting off endless vitriol and hatred, you will have to make the most painful of decisions. That person is beyond your reach, for they do not want to reach for them. Do not want you to reach for them. They have turned their back on you and have completely and thoroughly given up. they refuse to acknowledge your existence, for they have already accepted that you do not exist. If you present yourself to them, assuming you could survive their attempts to drag you down to nothingness, a la the movie What Dreams May Come, it would nonetheless kill them at the very core of their being. As I continue to go along my own personal path, as I continue to search, I find that the greatest way that I can empathize with everyone else is to undergo that very same pressure, though perhaps on a much more indeterminate level. There are things that happen in my life that go far beyond the scope of anything I could tell you in writing. Far be it from me to convince you of them, as they reside in the realm of what we still, in consensus, consider fantasy. How am I to tell you that the array against me, an array meant to squeeze more out of the furnace, an interrogation, is as vast and all-encompassing as anyone dare not imagine? It is perhaps not in malice, but all the same, ever present. No. And perhaps you do not need to know that. In fact, I am certain that at this juncture you do not need to know it. Just know that I have determined a great many things in my life in the short 27 years that I have walked on spaceship Earth. So you can see from this that it was 9 years ago. What I have found above all else is that I will stop at nothing to get us out of this hell. But the principal way to do this is not through force of arms or even more scheming. It is instead found in talking to you, telling you how much you matter, telling you how much you deserve to be loved, listening to you as you confide in me everything that has hurt you throughout your life, doing everything in my power to understand you and show you that no matter what point on your path you find yourself, if you walk towards your own inner truth, you will never walk alone. I will meet you there, as I too am in that search, fellow traveler. The farther we go, the stronger we get. To dispel the demons of ridicule, deceit, fear, and hatred, we must move courageously and shirk the notions of anyone's disapproval. Such things have no hold over you, and they never will. They are crafty illusions, constructed by a paradigm that whispers into our ears that we must fear or feast on each other's souls for survival. Know that such a whisper can only survive if you believe it, if you believe in it. Acknowledge its existence, but give it none of your attention or energy beyond that, lest it should suck you in and never release you from its grotesque grasp. If you find my writings or speakings weird, sometimes nonsensical, or even abrasive towards your personal philosophy, this is all for the better. See this as a perfect opportunity for you to inquire, as I will never attempt to stamp out your flame, only help you to see the path that I am walking, and strive to better see yours through the increased fidelity of my own personal definition. The greater the challenge to your beliefs, the greater the learning opportunity. That is, when you can trust in yourself that you are strong enough to fight off the diminutive demons of deceit, and trust the other that they will not allow such demons to be born from their own souls. When you trust yourself, you will automatically differentiate and disassociate from those who would do you harm. I will prove to you, as criticism perchance mounts for my own ideals, that through my actions, your inner truth is safe with me. Unconditional acceptance. That's this essay, guys. It was a long one today. Hope you enjoyed it. Love y'all. Peace.